Rivals Ignite series, and I'm genuinely so excited to find out today, y'all, who is the best team in this game as we find the conclusion of the story. Listen, from the first ult of the group stage to the final stand of the overtime last night, every second has led to this moment. And hey, a lot of teams, right? They've vanished. But VP, Navi, FlyQuest have survived the snap. We're in the end game now, and it all starts right now. We have two undefeated teams first in the winner upper bracket finals. First challengers up, please welcome from EMEA, VP. Ladies and gentlemen, coming representing from Virtus Pro, we have Saipe, Dridro, Finzi, Nefix, Phi, and Sparker. What's going on, Sparker? First words, how are we feeling this morning?
Well, feeling pretty good.
That's a good way to start out the morning. I have to ask, FlyQuest, they're feeling pretty dominant. They feel like they can win, get right to the grand finals. What do you have to say to your opponent to start things up?
Well, I mean, they're definitely a good opponent, but we came here to win.
Love to hear it, love to hear it. Finally, want to ask you, what makes VP, Virtus Pro, the best team in the world?
Our players are all the best in the world, and our teamwork also is on the same level.
The best players in the world, you're hearing it right here from one of the best duelists in the world, in Sparker. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Virtus Pro! But standing in their path, looking to soar right to the grand finals. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts. Prepare from North America. It's FlyQuest. Your Atlanta, Georgia home crowd favorites, representing FlyQuest, Cooper-tastic, Zealous, Energy, Vision, Spark Chief, and I'm joined by him, Magneto himself, Fest. What's up, man? How are we feeling today?
Feeling good.
Feeling good. Hey, listen, again, they're feeling confident. They're the best players in the world. They just told me what makes you the best team in this entire series.
I mean, they're a great team, but we're better. Like, that's just how it is.
Did you hear that from the crowd? Love the niceness, but also the confidence here. Listen, what is it going to take for FlyQuest to soar right to the grand finals and win this whole thing?
We all got to be on our A game. Like, these are the best opponents we're going to get. So we're going to be doing our best.
You heard it here from Best himself and the North American team of FlyQuest, undefeated so far, fellas. Good luck, best of luck. Atlanta, make some noise for FlyQuest. Virtus Pro. Let's get this thing started, my friends, as we find ourselves getting the matchup ready. Take your seats, gear up. Two undefeated teams, one of them right now going to take an L, move on down, and have to win another to claim their way in the grand finals. Listen to Death, they've got a lot to break down. Let's hear it right now. Tesher, what do we got for this insane upper finals?
We have an incredible series coming up, as Cozy's already mentioned. We're back once again for EMEA versus America to decide who will be going on to that grand finals and who'll be going down to face off against Navi. I am once again Tetra, bringing you here on the desk, and I am joined by a dual representative to keep it a little bit even here. Starting off, I am joined by Dustin Dogman.
Thank you, Tetra. It's good to be here, obviously. I mean, we want to get things moving as fast as possible for our audience, so we're getting started off with a banger today, like you mentioned, Tetra, America versus EMEA.
And of course, I am joined by the magnificent Ryan Central.
It's like the final day of Marvel Rivals Ignite brings me back through not only the start of this major tournament that we've had in this game, but the launch of the game that was last December, right? It's a great way to recap what we've seen in the lifespan of this game so far. What a great series to start off. What's going to be an amazing day.
And an amazing day is exactly what we are going to see. We're going to get our first team into the grand finals, and of course, we will set up that lower bracket match, which could be a rematch if we aren't careful here. While Virtus.pro were in the Group A, Na'Vi and FlyQuest were both in Group B, and FlyQuest did come out ahead in that first time.
They did, yeah. FlyQuest was one of the top teams in this tournament so far. Just statistically, right, haven't lost anything really at all. So this squad right now is looking pretty formidable, and I don't think there's really anybody that can compete except VP and Na'Vi, which it's convenient because those are our top 3 teams. And like you said, VP does have to be careful, but also they exude so much confidence through their dominance over EMEA, right?
Yeah, it's one of those ones that we have both of the teams at top their respective groups, not dropping a series, meeting at this point. It's not quite an immovable object, unstoppable force. It's 2 unstoppable forces hitting at the apex at the perfect time. And one of these is going to the grand finals, the other is going to the losers bracket final, play a bit more of a gauntlet. But regardless, we have the top 3 teams. I think clearly with the teams that we still have left in this tournament of not only VP and FlyQuest, but Na'Vi waiting in the wings too.
And let's have a look at the bracket to really break that down, to talk about the setups for these teams. You talk about who's going down to the lower bracket, who's going down to the uppers. Yesterday, we said goodbye to 3 teams as we had multiple lower bracket games. We said goodbye to the 4th place team from Stage 1 mid-season finals, Citadel Gaming. We said goodbye to the People's Champions, Chopper Mag, and then we lost our 3rd place team from the mid-season finals. We lost 100 Thieves, meaning Na'Vi continue to replicate their success at mid-season and set up a lower bracket run.
Yeah, I think that this squad in general has been really, the top 3 teams I think really have cemented themselves at the top, right? We saw 100 Thieves looked formidable and looked like a really good team, unfortunately going down yesterday for their squad. But this has been such a fun tournament because of, like you mentioned, the People's Champions going down. It's an incredible story with Bobo and that team. But,
yeah,
you know, really the story at the end of the day is both EMEA and America, both top 4, right? 100 Thieves also ending up in that top 4 discussion. Same thing with FlyQuest, and on the opposite side, VP and Na'Vi. So it really has been even across the boards for both regions, and today we're finally going to figure things out.
And having a look at that prize pool to talk about what these teams are fighting for. With 2 of them, it's their first international event, and they're already competing for their share of $1 million US, with 320,000 going to first place. And there is a chance that once again, 2 teams that didn't even make it to mid-season finals, FlyQuest and Virtus.pro, one of them could be going home with that line share.
Yeah, the main brunt of it. And you also have to say credit to Na'Vi, played a best of 3 yesterday and 2 best of 5s. Seeing Fate as they had just got off of that win against the 100 Thieves, he was like, it's the same script, it's the same script, it's the same script as mid-season finals, where that team went through the losers bracket to actually go and win in the grand finals with rematches. So whilst we have a great best of 5 to start us off, which really is going to be who is the favorite for this tournament, you still have like 100K earned from the top 3 teams at this team at least.
And Dogman, we're going to be jumping into the draft very shortly so we can get rolling, because we did have a little bit of a delay. We do apologize for that, but let's break it down for these early predictions. I expect you might be a little biased, but for this upper bracket match, FlyQuest or Virtus.pro?
I mean, it's going to be a hard game. Honestly, I probably have FlyQuest for this matchup, but that's only because I got to be honest. Like, I think that Na'Vi are going to win this whole tournament. Like, even though they lost to VP earlier on, it was a close game between them and VP. It always is. Like, Na'Vi and VP is always an insane banger, but it really does feel like it's anyone's game. It's on the day, right? FlyQuest is a team that we know needs to play up to their potential at match day, in which they're doing so this tournament, but haven't historically. So let's see if they can actually do that.
I'd love to like up the ante and make it EMEA versus Americas. Both teams are good. I mean, the major thing is like Virtus.pro have been so dominant in EMEA across the year, they're not going to miss up with this chance. But the first map being domination, neither team have lost on it so far this event. This first map could define how the rest of this series, maybe this even event, whole year could go on who wins this first map.
And speaking of whole year, all the year have we been building up to this, and we prepared something a little bit special for you. We have the DreamHack Partner Bundle available for you all in the shop now, and it is discounted for this short period of time. So make sure to check that out. Grab it before November 27th. Once they're gone, they are gone. But you've got Zombie Wonder Maximov, you've got Big Time Iron Man. These are some incredible skins, so make sure that you get in while it is available. What's your favorite skin?
It's got to be Big Time Iron Man. I mean, beautiful skin.
The big shot himself. I think it's just, it seems to be, he reminds me of somebody, but I'm sure he might show up like later on in this series in particular of America, man.
Can't
like,
imagine what you mean.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's just the aesthetic perfect kind of skin for an event like this. The first major event that we've had in the West in Atlanta, in North America. It's got to be the Iron Man one.
Yeah.
Have you met America Man? I don't think we've seen you in the same place yet.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I have not seen, who is this guy? I don't know, never heard of him.
That is crazy. Well, hopefully we'll get to introduce you at some point. But for now, we're going to be getting ready to head into our draft, which means, I believe, we're going to be sending it over to our casters. And we have an incredible one to start you off with today. Let's send you over to Vicky Kitty and Got Moxie.
Thank you so much, Tetcher. It is time for the finals day here for the Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals. Moxie, I'm so excited to open up this series with you because we have a banger. First time we get to see FlyQuest versus Virtus.pro.
Top seeds from EMEA, and we get the top seed coming on through from the second group in our qualifiers in those group stages with FlyQuest. And we're going to be heading directly into a potential 5-mapper to kickstart off this day. We go into Burn into T'Challa. It's going to be our first domination round coming on through, and that means that we're likely going to be seeing the Mantis instant ban immediately off of the rip.
And what's interesting looking at these two teams and their performance on domination is that neither of these teams have dropped a dom map. Can you believe that? But you don't expect anything less when it comes to these two titans of a team. As we get started with the pick and ban phase already, no Mantis, no Jeff on the stage.
Yeah, but we get something that we don't normally get to see, and it's not an immediate instant ban on the Mantis from the side of Virtus.pro. It's going to be the instant ban on the Jeff instead. So FlyQuest going to get themselves a one-sided Mantis to kickstart off this match, which means that Virtus.pro, they've got to go with the ban on the Loki.
Already forcibly having to do that, you also wonder, are we going to see a ban maybe on the group? Would that protect over onto the Mantis? But it is the Adam Warlock protect. Sure, they don't have a Loki, so there's no double res, but there's still that Adam Warlock that you have to imagine. FlyQuest, something that even VP know about, but they ban out the Luna Snow. It's a target ban on all the strategists.
Every single strategist right now is being absolutely swept. And that means that FlyQuest are going to have to potentially play Mantis, Adam, and Ultron.
Having the protect now on the Psylocke though too. Now you already see what the cards are on the table. FlyQuest knowing that they have that Adam Warlock, as we've seen before, from Vision, who also has an amazing Jeff. And with no Jeff here for them to rock, that's why they protect the Adam Warlock instead. But with the Captain America, with the Psylocke together, you already know the dive composition that VP like to rock out with when it comes to domination. As we get started with our finals day, our teams, they were excited, they were talking to us in the green room, and they are locked and loaded, Moxie.
FlyQuest going to be able to get their hands onto Energy's Hela, however, and that means that both the Hela and the Namor team up are going to be coming on through. And remember, they've got Cooper on the Mantis too, which means that we have 12% damage boosted Hela and Namor going off in every single fight in terms of that neutral play. Virtus.pro going to be running the Adam Warlock themselves, but they are going to have their hands on the Invisible Woman, and it looks like we're going to be seeing a very aggressive start to this matchup. A Sparker on the Psylocke, Fire on the Daredevil. They're cooking up an aggressive dive push.
You can see the crowd. They're showing their support. FlyQuest in home territory as these two titans of a team clash for the very first time. They've worked hard for this as Marvel Rivals Ignite has been in its infancy. All this to get exactly to where they are. As we get started, it's interesting. The Hela, the Namor, Spark Chief is going to be able to hang out on that group together with Cooper on the Mantis.
Virtus.pro are going to be rotating, giving up the high ground so they can make a faster position over to that point. Means that FlyQuest lose the opportunity to set themselves up some of these buffer angles, but they do still have the long-range distance where both the Hela and Namor. Virtus.pro have to pay respect to it, and they've got to wrap around these longer rotations to keep themselves out of line of sight and close up the distance. Finzi picks up first blood and FlyQuest lose a player.
And multi-title dirt too, and having that anti-heal, and with the trade-off with Cooper going down, that means you have no BRB. You follow up together with Zelos trying to boost into that Eternal. Bond, and together with VP, looking around, it is Vez who has control over the point first alongside the Vanguard lineup of FlyQuest. Before you try to dive in, Zelos gets isolated. The BRB brings him right back, and with energy finding Finzi, the number advantage takes the 5, goes in favor for VP.
Brilliant reposition from Sparker, being hit by that Soul Drainer, gets to dash back to his team and out of the follow-up damage coming on through from Energy's end. So he's still up and alive until now. He gets picked, but it's a little bit too far away from the point itself, which means that Virtus.pro still have this objective control. And FlyQuest, we're going to be seeing a couple of swaps coming on through potentially here, as this Hela and Namor is so strong at the beginning of these rounds when you have those angles, but when you have to play into the retake, Virtus.pro can just apply pressure and disengage.
With Sparker having the dance of butterflies, and you have Saipe close to that invisible boundary. VP just looks so good already with this first initial fight, Moxie. Talk about the ult economy, and Nevix coming out on the Angela. You talk about that disruption here too, and that's something to note with Vision having that whale, and he wants to put everybody in the grotto as a dance of butterflies with Sparker jumping up from the high ground. Finzi to get the follow-up to stop Energy. A lot of pressure going up to Sparker as he cannot get away. It is Vez getting Sparker here. Diving down is going to be Nevix, and he wants to try to get the follow-up, but Vision tries to stop VP on their exit.
Venn diagram of Heaven's Retribution covered by Horn of Proteus for FlyQuest to punish Virtus.pro's use of the Angela ultimate, but the Karmic Revival is on the field, and so too are Virtus.pro's players. Invisible boundary onto the objective as well off of that res position means that FlyQuest are all stalled up. It falls to Cooper with the Eternal Bomb to come on through and save the team.
Look at Vez here, and Smart Chief is going to be able to have that freedom charge. It's to help the survivability after that Eternal Bond goes out eventually, with Energy being on the Hela to get the 3K. They wipe out VP, and they finally flip this point because currently VP are already at 94%.
Virtus.pro could play fast here for the retake with that Galactic Legend. However, that's what FlyQuest are going to want. Vez with the Meteor M will be able to absorb it entirely, allowing Spark Chief to hold on to this freedom charge for when they need to use it to stall at some of these more aggressive plays. At the moment, you have to keep your eye on Energy. This Hela set up on that angle. Virtus.pro want to punish, get on top of her as quickly as possible before she can catch someone in a rotation. The freedom charge comes on through. It's actually not going to be the Galactic Legend, and that means that Vez has to hold the Meteor M too.
And it forces them to back away, trying to rally up the troop, trying to rally up the Avengers, but instead now they're met with a Galactic Legend from Phi. He tries to wrap up right behind FlyQuest, but Energy, he has not been stopped. The Young Gun Legend has now found 2, as Sparker, he gets to trade up, he finds Vez, but without Nevix here, they're gonna have to back away at the same time. He will have the Dance of Butterflies going to the next fight. As he gets the replenish, he gets Energy, but still, VP need to regroup together because FlyQuest win another team fight.
Virtus.pro were able to get the exit trade, however, onto Energy. The Rocket BRB does not get to bring the Hela back, which means that Energy is not in a good position currently on the angle to punish Virtus.pro. In fact, he's entirely split for the team, something that Nevix tries to take full advantage of with the Angela looking to dive onto the Duelist, but Vez has the peel angle, and we go into a Heaven's Retribution just to hit the back line. Tidal Dirge covers it, and it means that Virtus.pro have to rely on range, something that Drito's got in spades. Goddess of Death comes on through on the side of Energy. Virtus.pro trying to sustain through with the invisible boundary, and they're starting to wear down FlyQuest numbers.
And they do it successfully too, right? Saipe with the timing on that invisible boundary helps them out, prevents the Goddess of Death from getting the space that it wants. It also forces out Energy to make the swap, as the swap over from the point allows VP to take control, as Nevix gets a shish kebab onto Zelos.
No Loki though, it was banned out, which means no regentlemen or doppelgangers to absorb the damages from the Dance of the Butterflies. It's all about the heals per second of that Eternal Bond. Virtus.pro disengage, but they lose Saipe. Drito brings them back just at the tail end of the Karmic Revival, and Virtus.pro still have full numbers on the point.
Vez taking a quick trip down below and under as Finzi now comes in with a freedom charge. Everything utilized, and it is tied up with 99% compared. That's of 96, but FlyQuest are looking to flip the point with the Galactic Legend coming out. The Eye of Agamotto, it's fine Nevix. They need some follow-up though. They need the sustainability. Look at Energy. He's about to get the Kraken impact, but Phi, after finding 2, will they even have the time and opportunity as Saipe will hold on to this invisible boundary? victory for the next round too.
Doctor Strange portal's already done. It's just about cleaning off Vez on the Venom, and Virtus Pro will be able to walk away with the overtime push on Warrior Falls. There was some really smart micro stuff going on there from FlyQuest, right? When they come on through with that Eye of Agamotto, the Strange utilizing that shield from Vision to be able to try and block some of the LOS of those heals. However, Virtus Pro, they've got Soulbind, and that is a cooldown on the Adam that, unlike his traditional heal, does not rely on LOS. You can do it behind shields, you can do it behind cover, and that's exactly what allows the Angela to be able to still stay standing.
Being able to get that environmental KO too, right? At the very start of that overtime fight was huge. As we see the swap off now, as we move on to the second round, it's that awareness. When you start things off on domination, if you could capitalize, force out a stagger, especially when it comes to some of these first fights, it's huge to get this flip.
Virtus Pro, a lot of the time when they know that they're going up against the Hella Nemo composition, will use a Doctor Strange portal to get themselves into position on the objective first before the Hella and Nemo have that angle so they can apply the pressure with the dive. But it looks like we're still going to be seeing Nevix on the Venom and Finzi on the Captain America. The double Vanguards creating so much space for both the Star-Lord and the Psylocke to follow up, but also creating that buffer for the Adam to stay safe all the way out of these fights.
The legendary strategist Saipe here does have that invisible boundary, and I like the positioning that we're currently seeing of the strategist backline as Sparker comes up from the ground and is able to follow up with Finzi. They find 3 onto FlyQuest and a dominating takeover from VP to take this point first.
New round as well means that Dredro has had that extension of a cooldown for that regenerative cocoon, which means for FlyQuest, who do you really look at on this composition to be able to get on top of that Adam and force the elimination early? What's it going to be? Energy's going to be over onto that Winter Soldier, having the things like Bionic Hook to be able to put a stop to Sparker's momentum on the Psylocke, but that's still not going to give you an in to be able to try and find this pick onto Dredro first.
They need to make these swaps here. I do like it. As Energy still now going to be able to try to make some moves happen off the Buckies. Landing those shots when we saw him off the Hella, but you have to pinpoint where Dredro's location is. We're taking the battle, though, over to the side room. They try to get the hook at the same time, prevent this Captain America from running away. But again, all eyes on Dredro and Saipe with that sustainability. It is Zelos who starts the fight with the Sia as Vez now moves up. He's got the Meteor M. He's going to look for Saipe at the same time. If he could try to pinpoint this, or maybe prioritize Dredro instead, as the stun comes out. Saipe falling incredibly low as Energy is going to be able to find this follow-up.
Here comes Dredro. Does Energy have the follow-up? We've got the Kraken impact, but he's just not going for it at the moment. Freedom charge comes on through from Finzi, so Virtus Pro stabilized off of the revive. Get to just keep wearing away at FlyQuest players, and it was a bait. Sparker gets all of the setup and all of the partners you could ask for. FlyQuest fall just beneath the Psylocke's blade with down to the butterflies.
And Vision couldn't pop that passive too, right? Yes, he was so close to getting that Karmic Revival, but again, as you've noticed with VP, they know exactly where that Adam Warlock is, something that FlyQuest need to keep doing when it comes to Dredro, who's been getting so much out of that Karmic Revival from the first round.
Well, FlyQuest have to get a lot in terms of momentum out of this Soul Resurgence coming on through from Cooper. They have something to walk forward onto the point as we head into an objective fight. In Virtus Pro, they're just going to continue applying that pressure, try and force out some of these ultimates before we see the brawl point on the fight.
They're nearing 97% though. It's all or nothing as FlyQuest. They have everything in the bank with these ultimates, but it can't be so expensive to cycle through them as the Wombo combo comes out. He gets the reset, a nice snap put onto Nevix, dates to that sedation as he gets the follow-up together with Cooper. They find Sparker and VP forced to retreat here. They don't want to stagger at the same time. They'll give this space over to FlyQuest because they'll just wait out on the Kraken impact.
Yeah, Dredro does not have the Karmic Revival, but like you said, Virtus Pro, they have so much time, so much point percentage that allows them this luxury of being able to wait. In comparison, FlyQuest do not have any of it. If they lose this fight, someone's immediately got to swap over to the Strange and portal these players back. Otherwise, overtime ends immediately. Out comes the Galactic Legend. FlyQuest going to actually be trying to just disengage it until now. The Meteor M absorbs as much as it possibly can, allows FlyQuest to better reposition into the open space against this dive. Soul Resurgence is there. Feast of the Abyss comes through first from Nevix. It's not overlapped by Spark. Sparker's damage though, so the eliminations from Virtus Pro only now attempt to come through.
And with the Dance of the Butterflies, with some help with Saipe and the Invisible Boundary, trying to force out those ultimates, you only have Vision, who needs to stay alive, play into this win con to help enable energy. As he gets taken down here, looking onto the other side, he's got that BRB, as Drito drops down below in the middle console, born again, as they hear, Fi comes right back around, and now the number advantage, a huge stun onto Nevix and Sparker, as Finzi pops off.
Sparker pops off too, finds the elimination that Virtus Pro needed. Vision is down, and we get to see the after image as the Adam tries to find a safe location to find the res for that Comic Revival cast. Strangling Prisoner, Kraken Impact sound off again, and again, and again, and Energy might have done enough to bring his team back. Virtus Pro though still have the eliminations, stopped Vision from being able to commit the Comic Revival the entire fight, and Virtus Pro sweep burn into T'Challa.
A dominating start for Virtus Pro, from the positioning of the Adam Warlock from Drijo, from enabling Sparker, together with the follow-ups from Finzi. That's what we keep seeing from the best team in EMEA thus far as they put on a performance against FlyQuest for this first map.
Potentially the best Psylocke in the world. I think it is fair to say it's not just the mechanicals. Dustin was saying about it yesterday. It's about knowing when to get in, when to get out, but also who to go in on. And for Virtus Pro, the name of the game was to deny Vision's ultimate. They're able to find the elimination onto him from Sparker early in that fight, and they have the mobility with the Venom and the Psylocke and the Star-Lord to be able to catch wherever he tries to revive himself, so that he doesn't get to then revive the rest of this team. Because honestly, with that Kraken Impact coming on through from Energy, that fight was winnable for FlyQuest if only they'd had the numbers.
And the little macros too. Yes, FlyQuest get to keep the Mantis, but guess what? That sedation doesn't matter when it's baited out. Whether it be from a Captain America who's holding up a shield, Nevix who's diving down on that Venom, together to actually enable Fi, who popped off, by the way. He got a quad earlier on with 12 final hits, or even Sparker being on the Psylocke. You want to make sure that both of your duelists who are looking to dive into that backline actually gets progress here. Even from the very beginning, when FlyQuest was able to turn that point, VP were able to reset and then reposition to then go in for a great re-engage when they came back in numbers.
I mean, I think talking about numbers, right, the most important, it's got to be the strategist casualties.
Yeah.
As we can have a look at Jitter on the Adam, one of the most high priority targets you could possibly have in Marvel Rivals, and he goes down a sum total of twice. Which means that when the Comic Revival casts come through, that regenerative cocoon is still around, and it means that Virtus Pro just are able to keep reviving themselves again and again and again. And I talked about it, right, with FlyQuest composition. The problem for them was they had the Mantis, but they didn't really have a dive duelist who got to take advantage of that damage boost to be able to actually find the eliminations onto Virtus Pro's back line.
Right, it was all focused on energy, right, being on that Bucky, and it was the Wombo combo they wanted to go in together with the Strangling Prison and the Kraken Impact, except guess what? Your backline is vulnerable once that sedation is already forced out. Sure, you can have the Rocket with the BRB, but then if your Rocket gets targeted, guess what? You don't have a BRB. As we take a look at the stats.
Yeah, these stats, I mean, Sparker doing as much damage as we expected coming on through here with 4 final hits as well. But so too did Finzi and Nevix do such an amazing job of being able to sustain themselves and stay alive, because that was the entire thing about Virtus Pro's composition, right? Those Vanguards are creating space. That space is then allowing the duelists to be able to do more, but it's also allowing the backline to have as much distance between themselves and FlyQuest composition as possible, when in comparison, when we looked at FlyQuest and they were having to go for these rotations, their backline was always in danger despite having the Winter Soldier.
And I think a big part of that too is the Vanguard lineup, right? You have, look at Dan out in the crowd. Where is Crazy Raccoon? One of our competitors here in the early days of our Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals, and looking at the performance from all of our teams in the group stage, this is what these two teams have been fighting for, Moxie. But going back to our point, Vanguard lineup I think was so important there too, because you have 2 Vanguards coming out from VP who are not only harassing your strategist backline, but when you have 2 of these Vanguards from FlyQuest's side, they are playing a lot more cohesive together and trying to build up that space, but then they don't have the foundation to keep them up because the diving vanguards are harassing them.
Yeah, and it wasn't just 1 point dive, right? It was multiple angles coming on through from the Cap, the Venom, the Psylocke, the Star-Lord, which means that the Winter Soldier, while having a lot of AoE and that Bionic Hook being able to pick up multiple players, not if they're all coming from the different directions. So they got so much value, actually kind of baiting, it felt like, FlyQuest, wanting the Winter Soldier, wanting the Mantis to be able to make it all the way through, because then it forced them to have to go to a triple strategist line, which meant that it was purely one duelist for them to have to contest when they were forced off of that Hela and Namor. As we head into round 2, it is going to be Heart of Heaven. Does the ban draft change at all? No. It's still going to be Mantis removed on the side of FlyQuest first. Virtus Pro, however, prioritizing that Jeff, as we've seen on Heart of Heaven, there's a lot of verticality. There's also a lot of drop-off locations, shall we say, and you don't really want to be flying Air Jeff.
You're trying to tell me, Moxie, that pesky Jeff that could be so difficult to hit in the mist sometimes may find themselves in a assassination position? I mean, that's what you don't want to deal with, right? We also know the rollouts on this map, which, by the way, I'm very happy to see more inclusion of Heart of Heaven that a lot of our teams are taking. I believe FlyQuest specifically have one on Heart of Heaven like twice thus far, as we see the Mantis Protector come out next.
Yeah, it worked for them in the past, and it is going to once again force out that low-key ban on the side of Virtus Pro. Something to note as well is that when we've seen FlyQuest play Heart of Heaven in the past, they have put energy over to that Phoenix, so we're likely going to be seeing Vez moving on to that Magneto, as is such a staple for this team. FlyQuest now going to be removing the Rocket Raccoon, as Virtus Pro yet again continues sweeping these strategist lines to force FlyQuest into a really uncomfortable composition. Yes, they get the Mantis and the Atom, however, they're going to be denied the stability of something like a main strategist, with both the Luna and the Invis being swept off of the field.
It's another look of a full strategist ban lineup, it looks like, as the Protect onto the Psylocke comes out next, working with what was available for VP in that first map. I really like this look already, and again, it's not really worrisome when you don't have to deal with that Jeff, especially on this map, or a double res composition when the Loki's off the table.
Yeah, we are going to get the Atom save, but Virtus Pro's Psylocke for Sparker is going to be hampered somewhat by that last ban coming through onto the Lunar Snow. It means that you're not going to be able to have the Idol Aura to apply onto the Psylocke and send it out of line of sight entirely. However, something to note as well is that Virtus Pro, with this target ban on the strategists, have also gone after the Invis woman, so no more 2-2-2 strategist lineups, but that's also going to have an impact now onto Energy's performance on the Phoenix, as whenever we've seen him on that Phoenix, it's always with a Guardian Shield in front of him. Whenever he wants to play aggressively forward on that Terracotta Shrine rooftop, there's a Guardian Shield there. Is he going to be able to get away with those same aggressive angle positions to punish Virtus Pro's rotations? We'll have to see, as we can get a look at the compositions that these players are going to be running out with. And it's not so much running as flying for Nevix, because he's over onto the Angela.
I was gonna fall for that bait from Drijo, by the way. You guys couldn't see it on stream, but you know what? And I like how you pinpoint to Nevix together with Finzi and the Terracotta rooftop playing right off that shrine. Once you get that rollout going, so many different angles you could take on this beautiful map here on Heart of Heaven. We roll out for our second map after VP take that first one, already coming off the rip. Drijo trying to take a nice little angle here, trying to get some more of these headshots, putting that damage output here together, but that will also boost into Cooper and the strategist's ultimate economy of FlyQuest.
You can tell as well as Alice doesn't quite know when that dive is going to hit, as he keeps swapping between the cloak and the dagger form in case he needs to come on through with a Terra Cape onto a diving Vanguard, as Virtus Pro have already been able to gain a little bit of a foothold onto that objective just off of being able to pressure out the Phoenix. But Spark Chief does answer back with a peel onto Sparker, who somehow, someway was already almost 80% to his first ultimate. And I say somehow, someway, it's because there's a Groot in play from FlyQuest's team, which means that the Psylocke's rotations is going to pivot entirely from trying to find those those dive openings to just farming off of the Vanguard, building up ultimate, and dropping into FlyQuest back line.
And getting it so fast, right, with that damage output. Take a look as he jumps up into the ground, coming in from the heavens to get the dance of the butterfly, as well as a follow-up from Finzi here. But Energy, he shuts down Fi. As VP, they have that number of advantage with Saipei also having the invisible boundary. You talk about having that sustainability. All eyes on Vision to boost into this Karmic Revival as Part Chief brings everybody together with that Groot hug. Finzi to get the next one as he finds Vision next. He has to back away because he already used up that passive. He doesn't have that Karmic Revival.
Yeah, doesn't have the regen. Cocoon doesn't manage to come on through with that Karmic Revival cast. And FlyQuest, it's got to be a Strange Portal instead. They've got a Wombo combo. They do have Ensong and Meteor M, but Virtus Pro are just going to be able to sustain it with the numbers granted by the Karmic Revival cast on Dredro. Sedation falls onto the Adam. FlyQuest trying to find the pick. Heaven's Retribution gets dodged by Energy with that Ensong Inferno, and here's Vez looking for the slam down into the backline, but we get to hear a Karmic Revival cast, and that means that Fi is brought all the way back into the fight.
Safely behind the fog here too. Drijo brings them back, and the lawyer is taking everybody to court as Fi, being on the Daredevil, is looking to brawl it out, send everybody to let the devil out eventually. But the Born again from Vision, this is what they're waiting for as Fi lets them go forward. He found 3 originally as he comes in. The shish kebab, Sparker to follow up to shut down the Karmic Revival.
The problem for FlyQuest, yes, they managed to get the Karmic Revival off, but it was off point.
Yep.
And it was 1 tick left that Virtus Pro needed because of that Strange Portal force from FlyQuest's end. So they just sweep. They used all of their ultimates, force FlyQuest into running the Karmic Revival off of the point, and boom, we head into second with FlyQuest down the Adam ultimate, and Dridro going to be hitting it first. Zealous does have that Eternal Bond for FlyQuest to invade into Saipei's position. As we can see, Virtus Pro still pushing, poking, prodding away at all of these angles for Energy not to get any setup. He's off of the Phoenix onto the Bucky because he has to find some way of stalling out Virtus Pro's momentum.
What we're talking about that verticality too, very awkward as Saipei puts down the invisible boundary ahead of him to help out VP inside this cave. It's the matchup of Zelos and the Eternal Bomb, but look at Nevix. He's on the hunt as he's looking to go into the backline. Heaven's Retribution as he jumps in, but is there a follow-up as Finzi will closely get that Freedom Charge together with Sparker, but Fi, the Daredevil, he's found 2 more, and FlyQuest, even with Cooper having that Mantis ultimate with the Soul Resurgence, can't bring everybody together.
FlyQuest's ultimate economy is being forced to have to react to Virtus Pro's aggression, which means that they have nothing but bodies in the way of Sparker's Dance of the Butterflies, and it's just a game of stall at the moment, putting themselves onto the objective and trying to prevent Virtus Pro from picking up as much distance as possible. As we're going to be seeing Energy move over to the Hela, we are going to be heading into some of these more open and longer line of sights coming on through for the Hela. Vision moving over to the Namor as well. This is full pick potential where you get to ignore the ultimate economy in Virtus Pro's favor.
I mean, it's back to the drawing board for FlyQuest. They keep changing because what they're rolling out with is just not working. They are losing every game fight. Yeah, the invisible boundary right up ahead again, but Energy does manage to find Sparker in the process. Look at Spark Chief, who had also rolled out there together on the Venom as they get the follow-up here together, but the Born again radiates as a chorus as Drijo brings back Fi and Sparker. Finzi's gonna be able to follow up right afterwards as FlyQuest, sure, all this hard work is here. They're finding these pigs, but with this Karmic Revival, it's hard to be the nail in the coffin.
What an assassin's charge from Nevix, being able to find both Vision and Energy and take them out of the fight until now. Both do have verticality with their abilities and get themselves back into their position for the Horn of Proteus. FlyQuest say, call an ambulance, but not for me. And Virtus Pro are sent all the way back to the respawn point. And this, Vicky, is where we're going to get to see the Hela and Namor truly come into its own. For Virtus Pro, it's all about Sparker getting in unmarked with the Dance of the Butterflies.
Don't ever forget about the Vision no more as Energy finds Drijo next. He's got that cocoon though, so he'll be able to come right back around, but FlyQuest together with that Will. Gotta look out for it in the future because VP come in. They find Vez too, as it's gonna be the Heaven's Retribution just diving in, and Fi gonna be able to find energy next. Sure, you have that BRB, but all the sustainability in favor for VP.
Piece of the Abyss comes on through from Sparkchief, but the follow-up damage just isn't enough to tip the tide of heals done by the Invis boundary. And speaking about tipping the tide, Sparker might be turning it for Virtus Pro here. Energy's Goddess of Death though, there's nothing to prevent it. It's just sustainability with the Freedom Charge, but you're eating all of the AoE damage. And Sparker pokes his head out above the parapet a little bit too overconfident. Gets taken down, and Virtus Pro, they're down to almost 20 seconds. They've got to fully regroup, otherwise they don't get another shot at this fight.
Tip the cap here, Vez. He gets it point blank up in the air with a Meteor M. And it's Peekaboo 2 with the Goddess of Death from the hands of Energy. As you take a look at what we have here, less than 5 seconds on the clock before they are forced to recontest. But Drijo does have that Karma Revival.
He's playing as safe as he possibly can. FlyQuest want to make that position dangerous. Overtime means that the Adam's going to be isolated. Virtus Pro have to split their players. The Venom is pushing fully into that backline. Horn of Proteus catches on through onto Virtus Pro, trying to push onto FlyQuest. And we get a peel opportunity. Now Virtus Pro get to answer on back. Fi moving on forward with the Daredevil, gets taken down by Energy, but Trigger's been able to find Vez. BRB brings one back, but Virtus Pro have the Karmic Revival and get to bring back so many more.
And they try to get the face of the Abyss to a Sparkchief needs some help. The Born again, but it's a sustainability. The strategist from VP look too strong. The Eternal Bond, but they've lost out on the Vanguards. If you're FlyQuest, overtime taken away as VP are clearing this point.
Heaven's Retribution, paired with Freedom Charge. We've still got Sparker's Dance on the Butterflies, and FlyQuest don't have the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier anymore. Virtus Pro wave a hand farewell to FlyQuest's presence, and that should be them continuing in the heart of heaven by the skin of their teeth. They managed to break through second, and we head to third with a time bank replenish.
VP is saying we'll give you a little room to breathe, but don't forget we get this next checkpoint. Now we get to see the swap off though here, Moxie, as Fi goes over to the Hela.
Many people have said Sparker versus Energy, but Fi is one of the best Hellas all the way back in Season 0. We're getting the duel between the two. Energy does have Goddess of Death. Virtus Pro are going to have to pay respect to it. Moving around this corner too, when you don't control that space, when you've got the Hela and Namel continuing to breathe into every single angle, but the attacker side is so difficult, which is why Nevix is just sweeping through on the Angela, playing full disruption, allowing Chirridro to find the pick up to one, make it a second. This Adam is on an absolute tear.
This is actually insane. The bunny hop into finding these shots, into dealing the damage, the terror cape, but for what? When there's nobody to follow up from FlyQuest. VP, they clear them out in the neutral.
They've got Karmic Revival, they've got Regenerative Cocoon, and Sparker is already posted up to punish if FlyQuest split their players and try and push aggressively onto this Adam. Dance of the Butterflies, no strategist ultimate other than the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier to shut it down.
Look how cheeky Sparker's positioning is too, by the way. Right there, through the miss, is going to be able to take some shots, but Sparkchief is going to be able to dive down onto Drijo, but pinpoint where Drijo is, because he has that Karmic Revival, he has that Cocoon, as he's going to be able to come in with the passive survivability of the Freedom Charge, and with Energy going down, no Goddess of Death, but Vision, the sounding of the 7th trumpet, comes in to find 2, and just like that, off the board again, they come back again.
But Virtus Pro still had players on the objective, so they're going to be able to reposition off of the res onto the point. Saipe with the invisible boundary forces Sparkchief to have to reposition fully, and it comes down to FlyQuest having to play this next part perfectly. Vision gets picked late, Energy out of spawn uses Goddess of Death, but that means that he's not on the objective. Someone has to get through, but Virtus Pro have managed to push them out with the Heaven's Retribution, and FlyQuest get entirely tangled up outside their spawn.
The turtle reaches the finish line. And VP, the way that they were able to reset these fights. That's my face right now. I mean, off of that second map alone, let's not forget, this is where FlyQuest took VP.
Yep. I mean, let's also not forget that Virtus Pro took every single point in overtime.
Yep.
They have a composition which enables it so much as well. Like the Atom, you saw from FlyQuest, the adaptation on second, right? They sent Spark Chief on the Venom to try and aggressively push into Druidor's position, and Virtus.pro understood that that was likely going to happen on third, so they get to stall out FlyQuest, forcing them to have to stack their players into things like Dance of the Butterflies, and allowing Druidor to get the res off unpunished, stabilize the rest of the team, and then come on through with Saipei's invisible boundary onto the objective, which means that FlyQuest have to disengage it, and even if Virtus.pro don't manage to get the full push, they're still getting more distance.
They gotta keep everybody on the edge of their seat, Moxie, when you see a lot of these overtime fights. Don't you look at this crowd right now. Atlanta having a good time watching VP versus FlyQuest. VP, amazing performance. If you take a look at the stats alone, oh my god, 34-4 for Sparker, 13 final hits, 5-15. But you know what, Moxie, you brought it up before, the survivability of Drijo, but the survivability of the Vanguard Finzi. He's gone down fully once off the Captain America as we move up here together up on the high ground.
FlyQuest with that Helen Namor needing the angle, which forces the strange portal, but a great force physics from Saipei displaces them immediately, forcing the drop out of sync, allowing Virtus.pro to start hammering that damage on through. They've taken cover fully behind these buildings too, which means it's up to Vez to try and flush them out into the Hela and Namor's positions.
55 healing per body shot with that rocket together, but the push in as Sparky finally comes in with the Angela after making that swap. You have the BRB, but it's set up over to the side, and look at this pressure as VP make a FlyQuest sandwich around them, but it's a trade-off as Vez, he's waking up with some family buffs in the crowd. He's found two, but it's the passive coming up from Drijo to bring him back.
Those eliminations though, FlyQuest are adding to their numbers with the Monstro spawns. However, Virtus.pro do have the target focus and will start pushing some of these players from FlyQuest. Speaking about pushing, look before you leap. Nevix takes Vez off of the map, and FlyQuest, they got the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier up so quickly. Virtus.pro are able to sustain through it without giving up a single bit of point.
Man, I'm always entertained whenever I see Nevix and this Angela. It's perfect here for this beginning point on Heart of Heaven, and Phi 2 being on that Daredevil.
We got to start putting up the caution tape around those edges. We have to start putting up the caution tape around Sparker's ultimate. FlyQuest weren't ready for it. In fact, they got caught mid-dash of Eternal Bond. Sparker cancels out the Cloak and Dagger ultimate, and FlyQuest yet again denied.
They said what, Title Dirge? What were you trying to roll out here with the Hela and Namor? No Eternal Bond and shutting down that Strategist ultimate now with less than 2 minutes on the clock. Look at Phi's positioning though. He is waiting in the fog, and Nevix too over on the other side. You know what he's looking for. Heaven's Retribution together to get the follow-up. It's another anti-heal, but it's Finzi to lead the way with a Freedom Charge as Sparker finds vision again.
Not Retribution at the moment, just Descent. Nevix with the axes cleaving through FlyQuest players, and enough is enough. They've seen Hela Namor isn't working. They're not getting the space. Virtus.pro continue putting the pressure every single time they try and move forward. You've got to go over to the Winter Soldier, who's going to be able to try and find those slowdowns, those hooks onto these players from the side of Virtus.pro, but you don't have the Kraken Impact. You don't have any way of forcing them into the Kraken Impact once you've built it up either, which means that Virtus.pro with all of these ultimates should be able to cycle them one by one, fight by fight into overtime.
It's the way that they're just hiding in the corners. They're playing so separated, as now it's finally called in as the Heaven's Retribution comes in, and you could see it's not going to be Heaven's Descent. It could be Heaven's or Hell's Descent as Zelos gets the BRB, tries to bring them back, but look at Drijo. He's got the passive, and even though we see some of these trades with VP having the number advantage, they may even hold on to this because FlyQuest, nobody's there to stop VP.
Yeah, Drijo, like you said, not going to be committing that passive. Will be holding on to that precious cooldown, and oh, FlyQuest, that is mean. The stagger pick coming through onto Cooper, who, by the way, has the ultimate. FlyQuest are going to be relying on yet again, which means that Dridro, the slow walk back for the Atom, is entirely erased. He's going to be in position, set up entirely away from FlyQuest's presence with the Karmic Revival cast. Sparker, though, he's not away. He's directly in position to drop down with the Dance of the Butterflies.
Right now, in terms of win condition, you have to catch Sparker, who's going to jump on top of your heads with the Dance of Butterflies. A nice stun, but Cooper's got that Eternal Bomb, but they're going to wait on it because Vision, with that Mantis, has a Soul Resurgence on top of it. They get put into position, but they're going to look like chameleons with the way that VP are playing so split up. They still need to pinpoint where Drijo is because he's still alive as the Carbon Revival comes back.
The Kraken, no! It's blocked
Wow.
by roof of the building that Drijo is in. Rock, paper, scissors, rock beats Bucky apparently. And Virtus Pro off the back of that safely re-engage with the full Karmic Revival cast. Heaven's Retribution, FlyQuest, not an ultimate to be able to answer it. And that is going to be an overtime burnout. We went from the two extremes, a full push in overtime to a full hold. FlyQuest shut down. This was a series that so many people predicted would go the distance. These were two teams that were undefeated in the seeding stages that were coming through with everyone saying, is it FlyQuest? Is it Virtus Pro? Who's going to lift that trophy? And it just looks at the moment like Virtus Pro have that lead.
I mean, it's the fact that VP from the very beginning, Moxie, when we got to see them, talk to them a little bit in the group, they felt so confident going into this series. Yes, everyone was so excited to see how this was going to go down, but I was not expecting it to be this dominating. I mean, Vi alone, by the way, 50-9. Finzi died twice. He died twice. 44-2 with 14 final hits. Remember what we're talking about when it comes to this map specifically on Heart of Heaven? Captain America.
Oh yeah.
This Steve Rogers, man, is just insane to deal with. Together with the positioning of VP, notice that together with the Angela and the Daredevil, they're waiting on the side. Guess who's gonna come from the high ground? Sparker, who's off from a different angle. So then you're forced to look behind you. You look like a chameleon. We're looking at one side, another eye on a different side, and it's so difficult to pinpoint who your target is of your FlyQuest.
Yeah, and it's so easy when you're on Daredevil, right, with the information that you get. It means that you know the moment that FlyQuest decide to commit forward, so you can always catch them unawares with the Dance of the Butterflies, and that was how they were able to actually catch the Cloak mid-dash. If you don't know the way that the Cloak ultimate works, you don't actually start getting the healing until that first dash has been able to go down onto the ground. That's why FlyQuest, the next time that they hear the Dance of the Butterflies go off, actually pop the Mantis Soul Resurgence, which has a faster activation time in comparison to the Cloak, because they don't know whether or not the dash would be able to come out in time to stop the damage, especially with Virtus Pro's players being able to stack on top of all of those Psylocke plays.
It's just crazy to also see the way that Virtus Pro is able to make these comebacks after the adjustment from FlyQuest. Because you know when you get to the second checkpoint here on this map, there's a lot of more close fights with the caves, right? So it's great to run out with a Namor and Hello when you get the setup with the Squids, except that gets shut down. The anti-heal from the Feast of the Abyss, forget about it. And now you're wondering, as FlyQuest look back at these last two games, all right, well, there's a problem with the Psylocke. We got to take care of the Psylocke. But then that also leaves open, okay, well then Vision then may be able to at least come out with the Jet before we're able to protect the Jet here too. But then you also have to imagine Drijo with the Jet.
Yeah, and I mean, Fi in this environment and meta really does do well on the Hela. Like all the way back in Season 0 when we were talking about Virtus Pro, we essentially saw them as the top team of the entire world because of not just one hero that they could play at the best level, but many. And for Fi, the one that he was most identified with was the Hela. There was a discussion, a debate going down with all of the EMEA players. Sestroid was known as the best mechanical Hela. However, when it came to team play and resources provided, it was actually Fi who was given, for the most part, the crown of that hit scan, and he's getting to play that fully with Virtus Pro's resources.
It's been so fun watching Daredevil as this tournament has progressed. By the way, Finzi is Himzy, because look at this. Again, it's just the way that he's been able to survive. That's the Vanguard that you want on your team. Get down, ladies, as he's going to be able to protect Saipei too on the Invisiwoman. But it's crazy, Moxie, because you have to imagine just having $1 million prize pool. We are down to our 3 teams, and currently VP and our best of 5 have already taken 2 games. I want to hear more from the analyst desk, Moxie, because it's been great to see how our first 2 maps have already gone down.
They have gone down very intensely so far, but Virtus Pro started to come off with a lead. I have managed to fully charge my ultimate, as we did have that delay earlier, and oh god, it's America, man.
Hey, Tetra. Hey, Ryan. You know, America doesn't appear to be in the best spot at the current moment, down 0-2, but I'm about to double down on this FlyQuest roster, Ryan. I have something for you today, my friend. I present to you, as we get a close-up shot of this, have a look at what's under that. It's the best, because I know in the UK, you guys don't have good food.
How bad? Is this like a what's in the box kind of moment? I hope. So this is, what is this, American cuisine is what you're saying? Granted, yeah. So French fries.
Yes.
And hamburgers.
Yes.
Which I think is derivative of a place where it came from. It smells as stale as FlyQuest looked in that series, I would say, but we'll go from there.
Where are they from, Doc?
Michigan.
Michigan. I mean, it seems to be, there's like 5 Yorks, I think, in the United States, so that works well. But, I mean, I feel a little bit rough for you there because we were all like anticipating this matchup. Both teams were like undefeated so far, but it feels that FlyQuest, it seems that Virtus.pro have their number. The draft was exactly the same between the first like 2 maps, Domination and then going to Heart of Heaven for Convergence. Yep. It feels like Virtus.pro has a read on how to approach FlyQuest, and there's very little room for them to move in with the compositions and the way they have to play, right? How do FlyQuest get back from this?
They just do. I mean, they have the power of America. They're here in Atlanta, Georgia. There is no way they lose with the crowd behind them, with everybody here saluting for them, right? It's just going to be a victory for all these squads.
Are you willing to set a wager? Do you still think there's a chance of FlyQuest come back from this?
Oh, absolutely. There's no chance they lose. America's the best.
So you're going to say that FlyQuest are going to reverse sweep this. So,
what do you want?
seeing as you showed us some of your American cuisine, I wanted to see some of like your particular cuisine, Dogman. I found these a little bit before, some of your like pedigree dog biscuits, to say the least.
Huh?
Would you be willing, because I will level with you here,
okay,
if FlyQuest lose, you'll have one of these on camera. If we do see Virtus.pro lose this series, I'll have 2.
Money literally where your mouth is, America man.
You know what? I'm in, and you know where that all starts? We're going to head out to the draft because that's where everything's going to matter. And FlyQuest are going to dominate in this draft phase, Ryan, and I'm going to win that bet. You're going to need a dog treat, baby, because America is going to win, and FlyQuest is going to take this home.
Let's have a look at that draft as we are heading on in. Let's get this started.
So far, the main thing that I'm looking at is the draft going to stay exactly the same so far? The Protect from to FlyQuest is a good one. It feels like the one-sided Invisible Woman is working so well for Virtus.pro because of the amount of healing that Dreedra is able to put out that they can run 2-2-2 with an Adam, which feels that it's not enough healing. Not when you got Saipe Invisible Woman. FlyQuest want to protect it to just have something to play with to make sure that if they're running 2-2-2 or triple strategist, they have enough support.
Oh, Dogman, you're back. Perfect timing just in time for the draft. What are you catching up with here?
Right now, I'm looking like, I mean, VP has a pretty strong draft. I think that they're focusing on FlyQuest comp. I mean, VP's looked so good throughout this series so far, and I don't know, I've been here the whole time, haven't I? I don't know what's going on there, but regardless, I mean, Loki getting banned out too, it makes sense because of how good Cooper is at that hero on the opposite spectrum. I mean, FlyQuest, they have to figure out something. Invisible Woman protect. Dude, if we're getting a cloak too. Makes sense. I mean, how many strategists are banned so far? It's smart out of FlyQuest.
But they haven't banned out the Jeff either yet, so it's a good response if we do see Virtus.pro play it. They can do, but they want to sort of not run into that triple strategist composition if they can help it. It's also on Yggdrasil, which is a map that we did see Virtus.pro lose on against the 100 Thieves yesterday in the first game against the 100 Thieves at best of 3. So this is a good chance for FlyQuest to try and do some damage because Virtus.pro, the first time that they lost this map ever since they started playing like last June in the closed alpha was 2 weeks ago, Tetra.
Oh. Just that was how close it has been, where Virtus.pro have just been able to dominate everything, going to get their hands on the Jeff, which actually does work quite well for FlyQuest here, because again, that Terror Cape from Cloak and Dagger can be very good at trying to help get rid of Jeff once they go in for that ultimate. You've also got the Dagger Storm, which can be a little bit solid for the defense against the dives like Captain America, but no revives for either team. We're taking out the Adam Warlock to prevent those extra long holds on this convoy map.
Yeah, triple strategist is incredibly strong. It makes sense for both teams to focus on that. VP sort of taking a book at a Chopper Mags sort of playbook where they just go for those strategist bans, but it's interesting they didn't go for the Rocket Raccoon, instead going for that Loki. I mean, FlyQuest do prioritize that hero, but on the opposite side, it's going to be interesting because we still have that Rocket going through for both teams. Rocket, we know on Convoy is so strong because you can set up that BRB location in a safe spot.
I think the quick thing for me, I think it's just like it needs to be less on energy to do the damage. If we can start to get that more of a standard setup, I think for FlyQuest, they'll look a lot sharper. That's what I think we need to see on Yggdrasil. It's a good map for them, but if they don't win this, it's Virtus.pro in the Grand Finals of the Grand Finals.
The score is 2-0. FlyQuest looking to bring it back for the Americas. Let's head it back over to the casters to take us into map 3.
Thank you so much, Tetra. All right, we already got to see the pick and ban phase, Moxie, and tell us what you saw right there with the gate.
Oh boy, that Captain America save felt like a little bit of a bait because Finzi can play a very strong Captain America, but he can also play a devastatingly strong Emma Frost. And normally, that's a Vanguard that we see banned out because it puts so much more pressure on the triple Vanguard hold, which FlyQuest are going to be looking to use to stall out Virtus Pro's momentum. That Goddess boost, though, coming on through from Fire on the Storm is going to mean that Sparker is doing so much work at being able to melt those Vanguard hero hubs down.
And with FlyQuest starting things off too on the defense, I'm worried with Nevix and this group, man. I mean, this is the pride and true feeling right at home together with the Emma Frost as Finzi rolls out. Together also with Fi already building into that Omega Hurricane. But you talk about the choke slam, the Emma v Emma fight as we get to see that first pick.
Yeah, Vez just can't really hold his position on the front line either because Virtus Pro are just moving aggressively forward with the Storm and the Punisher. FlyQuest have to disengage around the damage boost tempo and drop something like that Invis boundary when Virtus Pro try to push corner, but that now means that they do not have invisible boundary to heal through this final judgment coming through from Virtus Pro's end, and they don't have the Meteor M to absorb it too.
So we see Spark rolling out here on this Thor. Envision does have a BRB, but everybody gets grouped up together as the Wombo combo attempt comes out, but it fails to hit its mark. The Eternal Bomb together as Energy comes up, but the Meteor M fails to land here as they try to get the protect as Sparker gets enabled. Drijo with the Sharknado. Everybody groups up together. It's a Cap 5. Sidebay falling low, but still survives as Fi. He finds the double Vanguard from FlyQuest.
Jeff Nado, Virtus Pro taking a page out of the EMEA Comrades book. Citadel, eat your heart out. FlyQuest now have energy over to that Doctor Strange looking for that portal for the recontest play. It is going to be Psionic into Psionic, both of these Emmas with the ultimates up, but it looks like it's going to be both of them popping at the exact same time. The Groot Wolf from Nevix, though, isolates out FlyQuest players, and they're able to find Vez alone.
So the seduction bringing everybody together from both sides. It's a sandwich here, but take a look at the ult economy. Cooper, he's got that invisible boundary, but it is not online fast enough to help out Energy. He puts it up to keep this fight going, and with Nevix going down, it's a trade-off from the Vanguards here as FlyQuest and Spark keep together with Vision, who will have that see ya. It's important because look at Sparker together with that final judgment.
Yeah, Cooper just using the invisible boundary to try and slow down Virtus Pro, grab a player on that disengagement because there is no point holding it against the Storm and Jeff's combination. Speaking of which, here we go. The forecaster Storm with a chance of picks against FlyQuest players. Jeff Nato is on the field and Virtus Pro continue moving forward.
When you have no sustainability in that moment, sure, they shut it down at the very end. Cute but deadly from Drijo as Nevix, they bring them together, but it's the Beast of the Abyss to try to get the anti-heal. But with Sidebay having that invisible boundary, they're able to get healed up, but at the very least, they do find Sparker, who is not able to use that final judgment.
Vez coming back on the Captain America because FlyQuest already burned the Doctor Strange portal. Energy does have an opener here with that Galactic Legend. Zealous moving over to the Luna 2 should be able to provide the Idol Aura for the sustainability to live this ultimate. And there it is, Galactic Legend to open up the space, but he doesn't get LOS onto his Luna in time. Sparker just melts him down, doesn't even need to burn the final judgment. And Virtus Pro will have that ultimate to continue moving on forward into this next fight.
Jeff, you see the golden Jeff 5K Labubu in the hands of the Emma Frost, but now with some change-ups here. Nevix on the Angela, Finzi back onto the Captain America for the second segment of Yggdrasil.
Sparker too, he moves off of the Punisher so that he can save 50% to that Galactic Legend and now force Cooper's hand into having to hold on to the invisible boundary, or there's the Meteor M.
Same thing here with Energy being on that Bucky. Keep an eye together with Vision being on that Namor, but it's looking like Energy trying to halt this momentum, but looking at the backline, I like the way that VP, they back away. They have to give this space over to FlyQuest for now, as you see Sparky trying to get the dive down. He's got the armor ready to go together for the reset as he gets a huge grapple in, the hook and the follow-up together from the duelist of Vision and Energy.
That's something we were talking about a little bit earlier. You can't body block the bionic hook, it will just get both. And it means that FlyQuest finally start stabilizing their positions. Virtus Virtus.pro can open that space back up, however, with the Galactic Legend, and we can see FlyQuest getting ready. If the solid ultimate is the opener, they want to be able to pull back without using an ultimate to deal with it. They're just going to look to disengage around the corner, but that's why Sparker moves from top right and pushes FlyQuest back.
Hanging out right behind him, though, and trying to find the target, as Zelos has the eternal bond. Vision trying to pinpoint exactly where Sparker was, but it denies the Galactic Legend from having what it needs to do. As Drijo backs away, the Itch Def online here too, but FlyQuest are trying to cycle through these strategist ultimates. 5 moves up on the Daredevil, trying to take them to court, but Energy, he finds Finzi, he hooks them in together, and with the invisible boundary, Saipe, he gets caught off. It is Smart Chief who gets the tether, who shuts it down, as VP, they get stuck here as FlyQuest finally start planting their feet on this point.
Horn of Proteus catches Drijo's position. No more It's Jeff shenanigans. And Virtus.pro yet again sent back. They do have Let the Devil out, but their time bank is also running out. And FlyQuest, they've got 2 ultimates to line up, Feast of the Abyss and the Kraken Impact. Virtus.pro, they don't have the sustainability to be able to live through it. Finzi with the Freedom Charge opens up the way. FlyQuest putting the pressure onto the back line to prevent Virtus.pro from moving up at the back of it. And because they have to go with the Captain America, they were left behind. Energy on the Winter Soldier shuts it down, but somehow Virtus.pro, with just 3 players, have been able to still find picks against FlyQuest.
Again, it's like the Assassins of Fi and Nevix together are just harassing your strategists for FlyQuest. Zelos and Cooper were not there to help with the sustainability for Energy and Vision, so they get taken down, and they were down in numbers. As you can already see, Nevix wrapping up behind them.
Oh, it's the box. Run from the Angela to the objective, and you go directly against the Galactic Legend, but Vez is able to peel it off. Sparker did not have the sustainability. The rest of his players fighting in another part of the map entirely, and FlyQuest have so much ultimates to be able to shut this down. It's overtime. They just need to win one more fight. Saipe brings one back with the BRB, brings Virtus.pro's chances back with the Cosmic Yacht Amplifier. Can they find the damage through the invisible boundary? Fly comes on through the Let the Devil out, paired with Nevix's Heavenly Retribution, and this might be hellish for FlyQuest to deal with, but it's Vision dodging the Jeffy with the shift and managing with the Blessing of the Deep to get the Blessing of Proteus. FlyQuest hold on until now. Virtus.pro portal back on through against FlyQuest, managed to find the picks with 5.
It is Sparker who says, I don't even need just Psylocke. It is just the Doctor Strange and the portal recontest as Nevix staring at the spawn room gates, trying to stop them from recontesting right at the mouth of the portal. It's the shish kebab as he tries to get the 1-2, and now the Meteor M, it collapses off to the side of the payload. It doesn't find the mark that it needs as VP are still finding these picks off of FlyQuest. It is up to Energy to see if he can get the reset here, but with a BRB from Saipe, it is too much to deal with.
Some teams, they just come alive under the pressure of overtime. And Virtus.pro are one such team. Another overtime, another 3rd point, and they continue to move on forward with Fi on this Daredevil getting so much information on where FlyQuest are going to be positioned. Vision on that Namer alone, just too vulnerable, has to swap over to the Star-Lord instead.
I see you having that info now as they try to contest down mid. See Sparker and the Eye of Agamotto, though. You know when a Doctor Strange is fishing, once he takes to the sky, though, you can see him holding forward to build up that space. Look at him from the top of the bridge. As he fishes for it, he drops down. He's found 3, despite Cooper pushing him away. And he still, with the follow-up of Nevix, gets the 3K together. And VP did only have to use that Eye of Agamotto. It wasn't expensive at all.
It was all about the angle of the drop down. So even if the force physics comes on through, his back hits, collides with the wall, and still manages the CC catch onto FlyQuest 3. Out comes the Freedom Charge. Finzi holding his position aggressively, and it forces the Eternal Bond. CC immunity to get past the body block from the Captain America. FlyQuest are through, but do they have the means of sustaining this fight? Heaven's Retribution yet again, paired with Drita's ultimate. FlyQuest dodge it, Vision looking to shut it down for the Galactic Legend. The invisible boundary is there, but FlyQuest are losing presence on the objective as Neville Nevix stalls them out.
The Nevix Angela must be studied because the Galactic Legend will stall down too with the shish kebab as Vez comes up. Meteor M, they've lost out on Cooper, and he doesn't find it smart. Even through the mouth of those doors, he finds Spark Chief. Drijo follows up, and VP, with only losing out on Fi, they have to look at Energy to stop him from trying to get the reset. But he does find Saipei, as now Sparker comes in. Eye of Agamotto, Vision stunned, and only 2 members left from FlyQuest.
It's not enough. The interception, Finzi with the body block charge onto FlyQuest. Virtus Pro saw the eliminations, knew if they had the maximum amount of players stacked on that card, they would have had the time and the speed boost to get it to the finish line before FlyQuest can touch. And yet again, Virtus Pro complete a full round.
I'll be honest right now, Moxie. This Vanguard lineup from VP, it's like mosquitoes all around you in the middle of summer in Florida. You need a mosquito swatter because then you got Finzi together with Nevix. This is incredible. And this is too on that 3rd checkpoint where sometimes you don't see a lot of teams end up actually finishing off these type of maps, right? And it's very difficult, but when you have that ceiling, sometimes it makes it harder for you to be able to get these different angles with these flyers. But with these body blocks, with the shish kebab from the Angela, the spear, finding what? We saw 2 at one point to shove them off the point. I mean, together with that and the Captain America, the stall potential, the disruption, it's like you're getting whiplash when you're sitting in the driver's seat.
I mean, Virtus Pro as well, Finzi being able to secure both the Captain America but also the Emma because it wasn't targeted out. Could play the Emma to break through first and then go over to the Captain America to continue applying those pressures. At points where FlyQuest don't want to take those fights but are then forced to on 2nd and 3rd, allowing Virtus Pro to take isolated angles, get more freedom on the objective itself. Huge plays coming on through from them as FlyQuest, the writing now is on the wall. They need to finish this map out and take us to overtime if they want an opportunity to continue on in this upper bracket run. Energy's over to the Psylocke, free farming off of these Vanguards. And FlyQuest, they've already got a lot of space, but not a lot of cart presence as it's Finzi on the Captain America, just refusing to let it go through.
Why not here? It's been working. Don't stop now, as the BRB also has been able to really come out in clutch, but you have the team up together with the Star-Lord, the recall here, as Fly is going to be able to reposition. So good at also forcing out a lot of these cooldowns from the strategist. He falls low, he tries to get away, but Vision, he targets him, pinpoints where he's trying to exit, and together with Vez being on that Magneto, enables him into position with these bubbles.
FlyQuest getting to move around that first impossible corner. And they've done it in such a fast fashion. Virtus Pro don't have anything other than the Chef Ultimate, speaking of which, Jitter is immediately going to come through with it. Do FlyQuest manage? Yes, they do. Dark teleportation comes on through from Zealous, dodges out of the grab. Energy with the dance of the butterflies, forces out the invisible boundary, but FlyQuest have the numbers to find the damage through. And Virtus Pro now going to have to go over to the Doctor Strange to portal back through unless they want FlyQuest to take first.
And Drijo manages to get away, right? They try to get the stagger, but Drijo's like, all right, I dare you. But this is even better because they're expecting the portal. So now they have to recontest here on the point and look at the ultimates that they have coming into this. Sparker with the Sia, Nevix with the Meteor M.
Cosmic Gun Amplifier is the first to come on out from Virtus Pros, and FlyQuest not matching it with anything. Now comes the Eternal Bond, and it's all about Nevix! Manages to try and find the Cloak and Dagger, but there was no Cosmic Gun Amplified damage, and the Eternal Bond will stay standing. Sparker brings the Magneto back. Finzi with the Freedom Charge trying to make sure that Virtus Pro stay alive on this objective as Let the Devil comes out, and FlyQuest don't have a strategist ultimate to stand up to it.
They were too busy using it earlier on, right? Zealous was clenching just to survive that Meteor M originally. It's off the table, and now VP with this recontention, they shove back FlyQuest to the spawn room gates.
Virtus Pro, though, they don't have a lot up against FlyQuest's ultimate bank that's about to come in absolutely flush. Energy with the dance of the butterflies, Spark Chief going to have the Feast of the Abyss, and they've got the Meteor M to shut down Jigger's Jeff ultimate. So Virtus Pro, the Vanguard players, they're just moving forward, taking a little bit of damage, trying to channel all of that into battery for Sparker's Cosmic Gun Amplifier. The Daredevil catches the Psylocke, he sees exactly where you are. They need to prevent the dance of the butterflies for just a couple moments more.
This is a team who is hungry, who is sitting at match point, looking at VP. They're looking to close this off. Look at the time bank, and it is Vision coming up together. together as Energy has a dance of the butterflies, but it's to force out these ultimates. Asia used up as well as a BRB, but with an H-Chef up on the high ground, Dredro trying to get contention. They try to stop him, but he finds himself off to the side as he catches Zelos with the H-Chef.
That's huge. Zelos not going to be there with the Eternal Bond to try and shut down Saipe. Follow-up damage from the side of Agamotto. It's up to FlyQuest players now to manage to scout out where the Strange is coming from. Can Cooper get the force physics? There it is, the drop down into the Maelstrom, but FlyQuest only sacrifice the Invis woman, and they will have numbers on the cart to carry on forward. We go into second, and FlyQuest continue in the upper bracket.
The sacrifice won't be for nothing. The fact that they get this checkpoint is huge. Some extra time in the time bank. Less than 3 minutes on the clock. As FlyQuest, they keep rolling out here with Zelos trying to build up into that internal bond and take a look at Vision. Now you still have that verticality going into the second segment here, Moxie, where you can try to stop this Daredevil as Fi is close to letting that devil out.
Close and has it, as too does Nevix. Have the Meteor M to absorb visions. Virtus.pro gonna go aggressive before FlyQuest get to build up their strategy assaults, and that forces Galactic Legend. The best defense is a strong offense, but Virtus.pro have just gone past the Star-Lord. They just walked on FlyQuest's backline, and now it's up to yet again Energy on the Psylocke. Dance of the Butterflies to be the opener for his team.
I mean, this AC backline, I'll be honest, this is something else that we're currently seeing slowly start getting banned out more often for the exact reason why you're seeing it right here. The Galactic Legend didn't get anything, because why? You're not being able to find these shots, and they're getting peeling, as Saipe with the BRB has had so much potential together with Finzi and the survivability of the Freedom Charge. You see Sparker flying around up on the high ground with the Galactic Legend himself. The Feast of the Abyss from Spark Team doesn't get the follow-up, despite the anti-heal. It's a dance off as Cooper is trying to put FlyQuest into position, because time is of the essence.
Dredro last time was able to get away from Meteor M. Can he do it this time? Vez holds it, tries to find the connection and doesn't find the landing as Dredro gets away. Doesn't, I believe, get an eat onto FlyQuest players though, but it's going to be a fast reset, something that Virtus.pro are not going to be allowing FlyQuest to get away with easily. They pick and they pick and they pick apart the attacker's side, forcing Vision onto the Hela just to try and find an exit trade onto Virtus.pro's overextension. Looks like he's going to be staying with it as we go down to 1 minute. If Spark Chief can come on through with the Venom and Energy the Psylocke providing enough of a distraction for Vision to start popping up on the hit scan, this could be the way back for FlyQuest players.
And the fact that Sparker gets another Galactic Legend. He's gotten like 3 of them to start off these fights, and it's another terrorizing effect as VP, they put the numbers on the board. Sparker finds 2 back-to-back and taking away the time, trying to force out another stagger. This is not a good look for FlyQuest, representing the Americas region. VP are holding it down for EMEA.
Spark Chief has to go over onto the Angela. Has the shield, has the movement speed as well to try and tap onto that objective, because we're about to go into overtime. He's got the verticality too to try and find these angles that Virtus.pro have 5 posted up on Freedom Charge, forces invisible boundary on the walk up, not fully on the objective, which means that it's all about Fies let the devil out. FlyQuest have no way of answering it, and here it comes. Vez picks Dredro, at least know it's Jeff, manages to find Fi through the ultimate too, and the homestand hero might have done enough for FlyQuest to see this fight through.
Can it be enough though with Vision being taken out? Oh Goddess of Death as Nevix goes up. He tries to land it point blank onto Energy, which would have been crazy, but he lets the Kraken impact unleash as Zelos gets the 3K. It's the nail in the coffin as they were all so incredibly low.
FlyQuest not out of the woods, far from out of point 2. They have to win 2 more fights in a row, and the hardest is coming up. Posted so far forward, trying to disrupt Virtus.pro, getting past and onto that objective so they get as much free push as possible. But the defender spawn, Vicky, it's right there. And FlyQuest, they have to start finding these eliminations soon. Heaven's Retribution could look for a wombo combo, either the Hela or the Magneto would do. But Virtus.pro get aggressive and make the first move.
And with overtime ticking away, you're lacking on time. And Vision, he wakes up, he finds 2, but it's also a trade-off as VP have Saipe and the BRB They take over the fight. Nobody left on the point with just one member left. Sorry, Vision. No Goddess of Death as VP. They find themselves in the grand finals of the Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals.
It's guaranteed an EMEA team. It's not guaranteed whether it will be a rematch on the end of FlyQuest or on the end of Na'Vi. Virtus Pro, the team that at the beginning of the year, so many people said this is the strongest team in Marvel Rivals International Esports. From not being able to make the mid-season LAN, from not even going and changing their players, looking instead inwardly to fix their issues, they find themselves coming on through all the way to the grand finals.
A moment as FlyQuest need to get it together for their next series, but an even bigger round of applause for a story that has been developing for so long. Virtus Pro, from the very beginning of Stage 1, Moxie, you were able to watch this team from the highs and the lows, and they did it to put themselves in the grand finale and a best of 7 that awaits them.
Virtus Pro might have worked out how to play the ban draft, and my goodness, what a redemption story that it is. One of the first teams in being able to find success without first banning that Mantis. And they're able to walk away with a clean sweep, 3-0 dominant performances on both our Convoy and Convergence maps in overtime, getting the full push.
I just can't believe, I mean, with the Captain America, the Rocket, the Jeff, there's eyes on the composition that we see VP rolling out with. I want to hear from the desk as you guys break down our beautiful last series.
Thank you very much, Vicky Kitty and Got Moxie. Virtus Pro with a 3-0. Where did your other lens go? When did you even do that?
I'm not having a good time right now, Ryan and Tetcher. Yeah, it's been brutal for the American squads here. I have nothing else to say. I mean, it's been a tough match.
You're still in the tournament,
yeah.
man. Like, you still have like the losers bracket final coming up. But yeah, it was a dog's dinner, I think, of a series for FlyQuest.
And on Dog's Dinner, while we jump into this, I'm just going to hand you a little snack as promised as we get prepared to jump into breaking down this game, because we just had an incredible setup. If you want to take a nibble, Ryan, start talking us through that series.
It was, oh god, the crunch. Is it as bad as I imagine it is? Or the loss on the tree. But yeah, so in this sense, it was like, we're very well experienced with Virtus Pro. It felt like when they get drafts like they did, where they can basically homogenize it between no matter the map, it's almost like, you know, when like alligators get you in a death roll, like your chances of survivability tend to go down a lot. And it certainly gets even worse when you have Sparker that's just on a tear right now.
And before we break into this too much and to give Dogman a time to finish his snack, we're going to head over to the stage for an interview with Sparker.
Taking more maps right then from FlyQuest, and they've lost the entire time. I'm joined with our winners interview in Sparker. And Sparker, first of all, I have to ask, I mean, they said it on the cast, but going from not even qualifying in mid-season finals to now making the grand finals here at the grand finals, how do you feel?
I feel great after that one.
Yeah, listen, I'm sure, and I'm sure, you know, job's not finished, absolutely, but walk me through this team and the emotions behind this moment. I know you guys are still locked in and ready, but just looking at the full journey, the picture, the story, right? You guys quite literally a Marvel moving in the making. I'm sure Kevin Feige is proud of what has been happening here. How's the team's emotions? You know, how are you?
I mean, ever since we became a team, we thought we would be here in the grand finals one day. And I'm just glad to finally be here with my team.
Listen, I gotta ask, all right? We now have the potential of 2 EMEA teams to go into the grand finals. America with 1, y'all with 2. Does this show, this performance, that EMEA is the region to beat?
I don't think EU is better as a whole or NA is better as a whole, but right now I think we are the best in the world.
Hey, you heard it right here. Let's continue to give it up for Sparker. And lastly, I want to ask you any words to everyone out there as you find yourselves in the grand finals. We're going to be walking y'all out. It's going to be a beautiful sight. Last words from you. Anything you want to say?
Thank you all for your support.
Hey, give it up for Sparker, everybody here in Atlanta and around the world. Y'all, we are just getting started. And again, to break it down, what we saw, good luck out there, relock, reload. Let's throw it to the desk.
Thank you very much, Cozy. And Dogman's back. Hi. You
Hey.
look a little dry.
Oh yeah, a little bit dry, but that's not my problem. I think that it's the problem for FlyQuest now in the loser brackets having to come back because they had a huge problem, a huge thorn on the side throughout the whole series, not just the Vanguards, the strategists, but it's Sparker, right? I mean, that guy was dominant throughout. I think that we just kept saying that we were watching the game, we're like, holy, this guy has just been on another level.
It's also that for Virtus Pro, I was saying before as well, like they scrimmed FlyQuest quite a lot at the start of this event because they were in different groups, and so they have a, sort of a little bit more knowledge on them, but it felt that Virtus Pro had a really good read on how FlyQuest want to play, tried to basically limit their compositions, the stuff that they could do with the characters that they play, and for stuff like Citadel for Na'Vi, they're used to bringing out like pretty crazy stuff at this stage to try and counter that. But FlyQuest, because they haven't been together as long, they're a little bit inexperienced in comparison to some of the other Americas teams. It felt that they didn't really know how to deal with the way that Virtus Pro were like dictating the theory and what characters were going to be in the server at any given time.
And Ryan, we did see a little bit of a focus on strategy